Tears of the Kingdom takes place at least 7 years after Breath of the Wild, which means Link is 7 years older, and with age comes the risk of balding. And while there's no hair growth elixirs, we can help Link cover it up and stay fashionable by collecting all 58 pieces of head armor. We start as always on the Great Sky Island, but we don't care about that because there's no hats up here. After an embarrassing first death, we head on over to Lookout Landing and talk to my wife, Pura. After receiving the paraglider, we move on to collecting the most important thing for this run. Money! Oh, and we also got the Hylian hood for our first hat. Knowing I'll need to talk to 6 Bargainer statues, I head over toward Mount Lanayru so that I can— Nope! Only to find out I need 2nd level cold protection. So instead I go back to the Great Sky Island and grab a large Zonai charge for the duplicating. I swing by the Hudson construction site to pick up some Zonai parts, specifically the steering sticks so that way I can make the classic hover— I don't have auto build. While I'm down here, I swing by the Plains Bargainer statue so that I can get the Dark Cap and the Hood of the Depths later on. I also took care of the Central Mines Bargainer statue underneath the Great Plateau, grabbing the Yiga mask above. My next stop was Thundra Plateau to grab the Mask of Awakening. After several failed attempts and then learning you can chop down the mushroom trees for logs and then just using that, I finally got the mask, sealing my favorite as the 3rd hat for the run. And it only took 5.5 hours. Oh boy. Next up is Rito Village for the Snowquill headdress, quickly stopping by Lucky Clover Gazette so that we can get the Froggy Helm later. After purchasing the Snowquill headdress, we head over to talk to Teba. Unfortunately, there is one hat that requires you to do all 4 regional phenomena before you can obtain it. The good news is, that means we get to listen to the best boss fight theme in the game, Colgera. Fuck me, that goes hard. After beating the Wind Temple, I dive down from there into Lake Kilsey Cave, where I find the Frostbite headdress at the end of it. I snatch a Bubble Frog and then glide on over to this big hunk of ice that's hiding the North Byron Snow Shelf Cave. I solved this little aerial puzzle in only 5 minutes and claim the Va Meadow Divine Helm. Back in East Necluda, I stumble around Robert Drop-Off Cave for a while, completely forgetting how to do a puzzle made for children. And at the end of it, get the Barbarian Helm. Now equipped with the Snowquill headdress, I say hello to our friendly neighborhood dragon and pay a visit to the Bargainer statue at the Wellspring of Wisdom. Going from low to high, I fly over to Valor Island and perform the dive ceremony to get the Glide Mask. I bomb my way through the Royal Hidden Passageway and grab the Soldier's Helm, which gives me a teeny tiny defense boost, but I'll take what I can get at this point. I glide into Hyrule Castle and dive into Zelda's room, which is a lot less creepy in this game because Link and Zelda are basically like married or something, I don't know. She stole Link's house at the very least. What was I talking about? Right, Royal Guard Cap. This gives Link the same defense boost, but it looks sexier. It's around this 9-hour mark that I start really moving along in this challenge. I pick up the Desert Voe headband in Karakara Bazaar, and then dive underneath it to grab the Miner's Mask in the abandoned Karakara Mine, bringing our total hat count to 12. Next stop is South Lomé Labyrinth, which I get through with ease, having done it a billion times in Breath of the Wild. Of course, now there's 3 stages to it, but after completing the Sky Maze and then defeating the Flux Construct below, I get the Evil Spirit Mask. Jumping around a bit because I did literally 0 optimization for the route in this run, I head on up to Lightcast Island and complete the puzzle there to grab the Zonite helmet. I stop by what's supposed to be Link's house and make my way into Zelda's secret well to grab the well-worn hairband. I stock up on Zonite parts and hoverbike my way over to the Faron region, riding the stream through the Sargon Wood— God damn it! Alright, fine, I'll just swim, and grab the rubber helm at the end. Nearby, I grab the shrine next to the Highland Stable, do a little bit of fish frying during the blood moon, and fly my way into the Puffer Beach Overhead Cave where I grab Bubble Frog, the Phantom Helmet. I stop by the Cliff Bargainer statue and— okay, is it just me, or do these things look like wide-chested Bionicles? Just absolute Lego brick units. I go to the Wellspring of Power to unlock the Hood of the Depths to buy when I have enough Poes. I glide my way over to Gerudo Town, where I encounter the first major problem of this run. The Gerudo do not want a half-naked man around their children. Which honestly makes sense, and I'm not sure why the other people don't have that problem. We ignore their pleas for modesty for now, and take the topside route over to Riju. After a round of training and some Gibdo extermination, you'd think they'd be grateful enough to allow me into their town, but no, they insist that I wear clothing. Which brings us to the first point in the run, where I will have to put on some clothes. After ceasing the siege of the Sandstone City by the ghastly Gibdo ghouls, I complete the Desert's Light puzzle and unlock the Lightning Temple. Do some puzzles, kill a Moth Monarch, and then I'm back in Gerudo Town they kicked me out again. And then I'm back in Gerudo Town to get the jewelry. Finally out of the desert, I go to the Highlands and open up the 8th Heroine statue to get the Tingle Hood. Tingle. I snurf my way over to the desert for one more stop in the West Gerudo underground ruins, where I struggle almost endlessly trying to break through 1,000 yards of rock, and eventually get through it and get the Vanda Boris Divine Helm. Sick of that part of the map now, I go to the complete other side and dive into the Skull Lake. God damn it! And dive into the Skull Lake Cave, where I simply ignore the Stalnox and grab the Fierce Deity Mask. I stop by the Akala Tech Lab because, unfortunately, there is going to be a second point in which I'm going to have to put on clothing. Apparently, just a Yiga mask is not enough to hide Link's physique from the Yiga, so I need the full outfit in order to get into their hideout and get the Lightning Helm later. I set my sights on Death Mountain, where I stop in Goron City to get the Flamebreaker Helm, and then take the rail over to the Yunobo Co. South HQ cave, ride across the lava, and grab the Ember headdress. I beat up the world's largest baby and then ride the rails to in between those two lizard imprints and collect the Vah Rudania Divine Helm. Looking to cool off, I fly on over to Zora's domain and enter the Ploymus Mountain Cave, where I get to do a few of my favorite shield jumps, and then collect the Climber's Bandana. Slipping into the cave under Zora's domain, I glide across and then grab the Vah Ruda Divine Helm. I float like the scales up to this island and break in to get the Zora Helm. Mad at my fish husband for getting engaged, I fly on over to this archipelago to the east. I dive into the depths and slowly crash my way through the rocks connecting the islands until I reach the Cap of the Winds. I visit the abandoned Hateno mine to slurp up some Poes, and go north to Retsum Grove to grab the Cap of the Sky. Grabbed a few more Poes, went down to the Tuft Canyon mine, and got the Cap of the Hero. I went to the Sternita lava falls in the north now that I had Flamebreaker armor, and climbed up to get the Cap of Time. Just north of that was the Hebra Dark Skeleton, whose jaws held the Cap of the Wild. There was only one more old school cap to get, but we'll get that later. I exchanged Pose for the Dark Hood at the Bargainer statue, and then headed over to Enchanted in Kakariko Village. Apparently Clarice's grandma is sick, so she had to hike up the prices to 5,000 rupees. And if you help her grandma, she sells at a much more reasonable price. But we're rich as fuck, so sorry, Gam Gam! Next we go to get the Cece hat, which requires doing the entire Hateno Village questline. Some of these hats just really are not worth it. After that, I built a nice raft to head on over to Eventide Island, zapping a school of Porgy along the way. I took care of the Bokoblin Coliseum underneath it to get Midna's helmet, as well as beat the Hinox in the Forest Coliseum to get the Korok mask. I went back up Death Mountain to fight a sick-ass mini-boss and then a pretty normal boss. But that let me get to the Scorching Coliseum, where I took out the Moblin Rush with ease and got Xanth's helmet. Next was the Desert Coliseum, where I bonked some schnozzes and got Sheik's mask. And then the Secluded Coliseum in Necluda, where I— what the fuck was that? And got the Ravioli Hood. I make up with my fish husband and grab a magic rod, and we take a romantic trip to the water temple, only to be interrupted by some squid kid taking a dump in the pool. After that, I chase Zelda around Hyrule Castle for a bit, fight some monsters, and then beat the shit out of Phantom Ganon. This finally starts the quest where I can get access to the charged headdress. The next objective is the Froggy Helm, which requires us to do all 12 Lucky Clover Gazette missions. Let's soar! I grab the last piece of Yiga armor and head over to their hideout, where they challenge me to beat them up as if I don't do that on a daily basis, and am rewarded with the Lightning Helm. Next on the chopping block is all of the Colton rewards, which requires a total of 46 bubble gems. I always thought Kilton was endearing, but Colton just kinda freaks me out, so I'm pretty happy once that transaction is over. In the final stretch now, I farm some Pose and grab the Hood of the Depths. There's just 2 more hats now, and these are the hats that I find to be the hardest to collect. Majora's Mask in the Lynel Coliseum, and the Cap of Twilight in the Gleeok Den. And with the collection of the Cap of Twilight, my journey is complete. Link's bald spot is no longer in danger of being seen. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss any future challenge runs. I'm looking forward to seeing you again.